And we're here with
Mr. Drulias.
Oh, come on. My bad. No, it's just they look similar.
It's
My
okay.
bad.
What's up, Oilers? I'm Diego. Welcome back to Faculty Fusion. I'm here with,
Katie.
Andrew.
and we're here with.
Mr. Drulias.
So, to those unaware, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do at the school, and anything else.
Sure. Yeah, first of all, honored to be on the pod. Thanks for having me, guys.
Always a pleasure.
So, yes, my name is Mr. Drulias. I teach social studies here, currently teaching world history and sociology. I also coach soccer, the girls' varsity team. I'm the assistant coach.
All right. So, if you guys haven't seen the show before, we break up our questions into categories, and our first category is entertainment. So, this is like movies, TV shows, music. So, our first question is pretty simple. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, it's tough. If I had to pick one, it would be Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. It just has a special place in my heart.
What's your favorite scene?
Favorite scene specifically in the Return of the King. It's pretty tough. If I had to pick one scene in the film, honestly, just it's not good cinematically in any sense or form, but watching the Battle of Pelennor Fields where you see Legolas just jumping all over and Oliphant, as Sam would say, and that whole just action sequence, just it's one of those things I always remember. I always make sure, I'll put that movie on in the background and stuff. I always watch that scene.
Do you have any favorite quote?
From the
Lord
Oh,
of
the
the
Lord of
Rings.
Return of the
Rings,
King
yeah.
specifically, or just more Lord of the Rings?
Return of the King.
Return of the King specifically, I can't say I do. Not one that is sticking out right now. But, I mean, there's plenty of Tolkien quotes that I love. It's the writer of Lord of the Rings, the books. But, yeah, as far as Return of the King, I can't have one right now.
Yeah. What's your favorite musical act?
Or band, I
Yeah,
guess.
The
like
Lord of the
band,
Rings?
artist, singer.
Wait, what?
Oh, I thought of the Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Oh.
Like, who's your favorite band from Lord of the Rings?
No, as far as I know, it's only Howard Shore doing
Oh.
the, what's it called? Not cinematography, but choreography?
Score.
Score. There we go. Embarrassing. My favorite band, if I had to go just all time, probably be the Eagles. I just grew up, like, so many memories of being in the car on a car ride home, and my parents were playing the Eagles. I was in a Hotel California.
Yeah. If you could see any band or musician in their prime, who would you see?
I don't know if it was in his prime, but the concert certainly was. The Live Aid, Freddie Mercury. There's no concert on earth, and I'm not even going to pretend to be, like, the biggest Queen fan in the world, but seeing that just on YouTube, like,
Yeah.
even in the movie, I thought they did such a good job, but that, like, actual chills, I think. If I would be there, I wouldn't trade that for anything else.
What's your favorite theater-going experience you've ever had?
Just, like, favorite theater to go to, or just in general?
Yeah, like the one movie showing that you went to that sticks out.
Sure. Specifically, I remember it was actually Harry Potter Deathly Hallows 1.
Oh, I was gonna say, is that the one where like the tree tried to attack the kids, or am I thinking a different one?
No. I think that I don't remember which one
That's
that is.
Chamber.
But yeah.
Oh.
Okay, that sounds correct. I think I just like binged all the other movies, and I just remember going in there with my friends and just sitting there watching that whole movie. It also sticks out because I didn't actually go to the theaters to watch Deathly Hallows Part 2 for whatever reason, so it took me a while to actually end up seeing that film. But I just remember sitting there watching that happen, kind of knowing what's going to happen, but not fully, and just being shocked when you see Snape have to kill Dumbledore, but good times.
He killed him?
Sorry, I should have said spoiler alert for a film that came out 10 years ago.
Oh my. I never know I'm checking.
Wow.
Damn. Favorite TV show? You have any favorite TV shows?
Favorite TV shows? I think it has to be Game of Thrones, even though I don't think there's a fan there who enjoys the way that ended. but at its height, I don't think there's ever been a show that's been as unpredictable, unless maybe you read the books. But just scene to scene, you never know what you're going to get. Some of the best acting I've ever seen. Definitely Game of Thrones.
How about Better Call Saul?
This guy.
You know, I liked it. I watched the first 2 seasons, and for no real reason, just too much content now. I just stopped watching it. But it was super good. Breaking Bad, obviously, also up there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Just some of the best TV around.
Are you more of a Breaking Bad final episode fan or Ozymandias?
I don't know what Ozymandias is. So
Me neither. I was gonna
That's
be like,
the Hank episode.
Oh, okay.
Definitely the Hank episode. Just, I mean,
where he realizes the whole Walter White is.
No, it's the
No.
one, it's the one where where he dies.
Yeah.
Oh, that one! I
Yeah.
love that one. I was laughing so hard.
What?
oh,
What?
just, oh no, I see. That should have been Crash next time.
All right, so now we have some trivia. It's just 4 questions.
Sure.
But let's see how you can do.
For sure.
Name the 3 Game of Thrones dragons.
So we're talking about Khaleesi's dragons here.
Yes.
Those would be Drogo, Rhaegal, and Viserion, if I'm not mistaken.
The Pokemon behind you.
Oh.
Oh.
I didn't notice that. It's a good poster.
All right, can you name 7 Ewoks?
Absolutely not. Wait, hold on. I used to play Star Wars games on my phone.
He walks.
But no, I don't think I could name 7. I don't even know if I could name one at this.
Oh, damn.
It's going to bug me because I know their names.
Oh, these
but
little
no.
guys.
The little bears.
So cute.
Escobar can name all of them.
Mr. Escobar beats me in a lot of categories, and that's definitely one of them.
Can you name all of the MCU in order?
We just named 50 films really quick. So I'll go off just what best I can do. We're not even gonna get close to all of them. I know Iron Man came out well before anything else. This is where I'm gonna stall immediately. I want to say it was Thor, then Captain America, then what comes out afterwards? 'Cause are we counting Hulk, the original one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk,
Oh.
not Ang Lee Hulk.
Yeah, I don't. Just because that one kind of was its own, came out with was it Edward Norton, and then they recast Mark Ruffalo later. So I couldn't tell you something of those 3, but no, there's no way I get past that. I'm sure I could do semi-order, but no.
So now we're going to move on to school, sports, and coaching.
Sure.
So how long have you been a soccer coach, and why did you want to become one?
So at Montebello High School, this is my 5th year as a soccer coach, but I've actually been coaching soccer since I was 18, the year I graduated high school. I went to
Wow.
Dunbar High School, and I ended up assisting the freshman team there my first year of college. So I'm probably on 12 plus years of coaching.
Yep.
And then you asked the second part of that question. I'm sorry.
Oh, and why did you want to become a soccer coach?
Oh, I just my dad always coached. My dad went here, coached here for a long time, coached me growing up, and so I just because I was kind of always around sports, knew I wanted to at least continue, especially with soccer. Maybe if my paths were limited as far as playing, I wasn't playing D1 or anything like that. I wasn't going to make the Premier League, but just I always had a passion for it, so I just immediately started doing it right after high school and never really stopped.
Did your grandfather coach here?
My grandfather did not.
Oh,
Not as far as I know.
Oh.
maybe he did.
What's the most memorable sports season that you've had, either as a coach or as a player?
As a player, definitely my senior year of high school. We hadn't made CIF for the first, or since I started high school, and so getting into CIF and scoring a goal in CIF was definitely my most memorable as a player for sure. As a coach, the COVID year here actually, we had a really good run in CIF for the girls. I think we went to the quarterfinals. And so, yeah, that would probably be my most memorable as a coach.
So now we're moving on to education in a broader sense.
Sure.
So what's your favorite time period / historical era?
I mean, the easy answer, especially today, would be Rome, since that's all over TikTok these
my
days.
God. Do you really think about Rome?
I probably think about Rome more often than the average person does, but I also teach history,
What do
so
you think about it? Like,
just you can connect so many things that have happened in world and especially Mediterranean history to what happened in Roman history. Like, I went to Europe back in 2013. I go to Croatia, not expecting to see any Roman ruins, and there's Roman ruins there. It just you could find it anywhere. But my favorite is probably from like the early to mid 1900s, just all of World War I, World War II, into the Cold War. There's just so much stuff that happens. That would probably have to be my favorite.
Do you like Call of Duty Black Ops when they included the Cold War?
Funnily enough, I never played Black Ops Cold War. I kind of stopped
Dude.
playing. I just didn't have time for Call of Duty anymore. I do have it. I will play it at some point. I did play the original Black Ops. I might have played Black Ops 2. I can't recall.
Might have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you grinding Warzone in 2020?
You know what? I've never played Warzone. I stopped
never
playing
played
online
Warzone?
Call of Duty probably a little bit before I got my first job here teaching. Just internet wasn't great at my house back then. The Wi-Fi wasn't all that in a bag of chips, and just stopped. That's fair.
Hold on.
I can accept that.
What are your thoughts on Ulysses S. Grant?
I think he's a bit. It's tough. I think he's a bit of an underrated president. I mean, any president back then was probably somewhat problematic, but I think his biggest flaw as a president was the people around him. I don't think he was really aware of just how important putting the right people in places to do stuff and continue your policies, because, I mean, it's really under Grant that I believe we see the Reconstruction start up, and it also kind of fails under Grant. And so why does that happen? Well, because he just pulled out all the troops. There was nobody there to keep the South in check, and so...
Oh, no, I was just checking on where's the South.
Oh, okay. And so, I think he's a bit of an underrated president. Wouldn't say he's my favorite, but don't have too many bad feelings about him.
What's your favorite political scandal this century?
Oh, God.
This century, you got about how many in the last year and a half? I mean, I wasn't alive for it, but the JFK assassination, I know they just have sort of released documents, and who knows the veracity of anything like that. There we go. I like it. I like to think that, it was a cover-up, and there was something there. I've seen the one shooter theory. I wouldn't be surprised if there were shooters on the hill.
One shooter theory?
That why am I blanking on his name?
Lee Harvey?
Lee Harvey. That he was able to fire off as many shots as he did in quick succession that accurately. The magic bullet theory, where they're saying a bullet traveled all the way through, and it's possible because bullets can hit bones and fragment. It just seems a little too convenient for me that he did all of that at 200-300 yards. That would probably be my favorite one.
So now we're going to move into your personal life. So what college did you go to?
So I actually went to multiple colleges. Right out of school, I went to Mount Sac down in Walnut. I was there for a couple of years. I ended up going to Orange Coast College, which is another junior college in Costa Mesa, and I graduated with my bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Cal State Fullerton. And I actually got my master's from University of Phoenix.
So did you always want to be a high school teacher, or did you have any other jobs that you would have liked to pursue?
I never really had. I can't pretend to be that one person who was like, you know what, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up. I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. I never really had one of those things. Once I started coaching, teaching was always kind of in the back of my mind because I always loved history, from like just stories from my dad to like growing up watching old World War II films, in high school learning more and more and more. So it was kind of something that was always in the back of my mind. And then really when I got into coaching, I was like, I could do this. The kids aren't so bad.
So did you have any other non-education related jobs before working here?
Oh yeah, I've had a lot of jobs. My first job was actually at Subway. I was still in high school when I started working there, so I'm a certified sandwich artist. So
I gotta ask, did you ever give out like free cookies or something?
yeah, of course. Like
Okay.
you work in the town you live, your friends are going to come in and
Okay.
expect a hookup. So I'm positive I gave away free sandwiches, free cookies on occasion. But that was my first job. I ended up working at a BJ's restaurant, pizzeria in Newport Beach for a couple years. Not my favorite pizza personally, but it was good.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just
Sorry.
agreeing. My bad.
Sure. No, you're totally fine. Totally fine. After that, came back to where I was living in Diamond Bar, worked at Subway again for a little while, Ended up working at a couple bars in Newport Beach. Then I was a substitute teacher. All the while, I've been coaching basically that whole time. And then I got my job here. It's been that ever since.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories that stand out about like Karens in the workplace?
Like at the bar. Has anyone given you like a fake ID?
So I was never a bouncer, so I didn't have to check IDs. Thankfully, it wasn't my job. I'm positive there were every day, every night, people pulling out fake IDs. Karen's in the workplace. One time when I was working at Subway, we had a woman. People in food, it's a very contentious relationship. I'm sure you've been to restaurants, and if you're not with that person, you've seen that person over there somewhere. Yeah. Being a little Karen-ish, but when you make the food in front of somebody, they're very particular. If you do it in the back in the kitchen, they can't really say too much, right? They're not there to see it being made, but I'm making the sandwich in front of you. So we would have people regularly like, can I get more? Okay, cool. More. Like, understand, I have to close this sandwich at some point. You got triple all the veggies. And so now you're telling me more. Okay, and then at one time I just grabbed a bunch of onions and I just went like that. Anything else? And so you get plenty of Karens like that. But one time, I can't remember the exact reasoning, but a woman was not happy with how much she had to pay for a sandwich, which is totally not up to me. I'm just pressing one button, and it tells me this is your price. Mm-hmm. And so but it was probably one of the times when, there used to be a thing called $5 footlongs, right?
Oh, yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
No.
But they probably went up to like $5.50, let's say, and she was not happy with that fact. And so screaming at me, my manager comes out screaming at her or whatever, and then leaves, and I'm still at the cash register, and I hear the door open again, and I look, and she throws the sandwich like into the
hello?
Thankfully not at me, but throws the sandwich, maybe trying to hit me, but just hits the wall and falls, and it's like, all right, thanks.
At that point, she wasn't hungry.
It was the principle of that 50 cents, it's important.
Why Subway? Why?
I had a buddy who worked there, and so he was just able to give me a job.
How did you balance work, school, social back in high school?
So in high school, I started working going into my senior year. So I had that summer to kind of figure out how to make a sandwich. It's not hard, but it's also like you got to remember, I can't be like, hold on, how many pieces of meat go on this one? So you got to figure that out, right? And so I had the summer to kind of get that down. And since they know I'm in high school, most part-time jobs are going to be at least somewhat amenable to like, hey, you can't work from 8 to 3 or whatever, right? And then as far as studies and coaching goes, I was always a good enough student. I wasn't a 4.0 student or anything like that, but I was good enough where I could get my work done in class. If I couldn't, at Subway, it's only busy at lunch and then at dinner time. There's a lot of time in there that's not just constantly people. There's not huge lines. So if you get your other stuff done, your prep, you can study or do this and do that. And so that with soccer, I was able to balance it.
Do you have any favorite high school memories?
Definitely, like I said earlier, just scoring that goal in CIF was, I wasn't a regular goal scorer by any means, but just being able to do that was probably one of my favorite moments as far as school goes.
What's your favorite state?
Like state?
Like U.S. state.
Oh.
My favorite U.S. state. I think the interesting pick would be Ohio, but I don't really know anything about Ohio other than that people like to equal parts make fun of it and say it's the best. Excluding California, since I live here and plan on living here for most of my life.
What's so special about Ohio?
I couldn't tell you. It's meme culture.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Do you still keep up with memes?
I won't pretend to be as on top of them as I once was.
You pretended.
I didn't have to pretend. But for sure, I have an Instagram just like everybody else. That's not 50. But for sure, I definitely keep up with it as much as I can. But my favorite state, back to that question, I really liked Arizona, not Phoenix, because it's hot as heck down there. You're sweating all day, every day.
Arizona is the one with the Pyramid Bass Shop? Or is that a different state?
That's a good question. I know there is like a super Mecca Pro Bass shop or whatever, but I'm not sure. But my brother actually went to school in Flagstaff, Arizona. My parents actually have a house there. It's up in the mountains. It's really close to the Grand Canyon. You're probably like an hour away. Oh. And I love it as a getaway. It's like 6-7 hours away from here. and you can just kind of like melt into the wilderness for a little while. It's really nice.
So you visited a lot of the world. What's your favorite place that you visited?
Scotland, hands down. The only place that I've been that I absolutely have to go back to. There's plenty of places I would love to go back to. I've been to Italy twice now. And I would absolutely love to go back, but Scotland, without a doubt, is my favorite place in the world. Edinburgh, which is the capital, is just stunningly gorgeous. It's not like a metropolitan city like LA, where it's just hustle and bustle. It's not super big, but you're also really close to the Highlands. There's just beautiful and green and mountainous, and there's lakes that they call lochs everywhere. You can go see the Loch Ness Monster. I was able to swim with him for a minute.
You saw one?
Yeah. I mean, it was a fake Loch Ness Monster next to the water, but I jumped in the water for about 3 seconds. We went on a tour.
I thought you actually saw
Oh,
him.
no. As far as I know,
it's
he
a
doesn't
her.
exist.
Not Ness. Or Nettie? That's her name?
Nessie?
Nessie. I want to meet her one day.
Me too. I mean, I tried, but the water it's very cold. They're much higher in elevation than we are, not elevation, but latitude, I think. And we had a tour. There was like 30 people on this bus, and we get up to the lake, and they're like, all right, anybody want to jump in? Go ahead. And only me and my buddies did it. And we gave our camera to the person giving the tour, and so you can see him taking the pictures. And so there's a picture of all of us jumping in, and the very next picture, he's just clicking away, is everybody turned around just getting the heck out of the water because it was so cold. But I can say I swam with Nessie. So.
How often have you been to Las Vegas?
How often? I mean, I maybe go once a year, but I've probably been there maybe less than 15 times. I mean, I'm 32 years old, so I'm not young anymore.
Oh, I thought you were 30. I did the math.
I'll take it.
How much money have you lost there?
I'm not sure I can disclose that on this podcast.
No, a range?
Maybe a couple $100. I'm not a huge gambler. I've had a couple wins there that were good enough to make sure my losses are mitigated. If I have to pick a number, let's say I've lost around $500.
Oh, I have to ask. So you know how you travel around the world? Do you give people fake names, because you're never gonna meet them or something?
No, for sure. But I mean, if I'm meeting people in that country, there's no reason for me to lie to them or anything like that. It's usually a pretty nice interaction.
What's the scariest paranormal experience you've had?
Probably in 8th grade, I went to Catalina for camp. And they tell you scary stories and if you go up on this trail, you'll see this or see that. And definitely one night we did. And I mean, it's been a long time. But I remember just walking up there. It was me and 3 buddies or whatever. And we're walking around, and you can hear, it's probably just squirrels. But you can hear rustling up here in the bush because it's just a trail. There's no lights. Whatever we can see, and our eyes are just adjusting because we, believe it or not, didn't have an iPhone when I was in 8th grade. That wasn't really a thing yet. I don't think those came out until I was a junior in high school.
Damn.
But just seeing hearing that, and we swear we saw the ghost cross the road, but that would probably be the most paranormal. I mean, I felt it was real to me in that moment,
So now we're going to move into the mailbag.
Sure.
So this is questions that our very own Oilers have submitted. So, yeah, here we go.
Can't wait.
So our first question is, why are the Chicago Bears so much better than the Saints?
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm positive I know who this question's from,
Oh,
but
okay.
I won't shout them out.
Oh, why not?
There's probably only one Bears fan on campus. So, Miguel, we know it's you.
Oh.
Why are they better? I don't think they are. Statistically speaking, they're not. I believe the Saints beat the Bears a week ago or 2. 2 weeks ago. They didn't play this last week. They played the week before. Why are the Chicago Bears better? I couldn't tell you because I'm not sure there's a single reason why.
Is Mr. DeLeon your best friend?
Hello?
Sometimes I don't know if Mr. DeLeon has any friends.
Oh,
And that's not even a shot. That's just who Mr.
Are
DeLeon
you
is.
sure? It's not a shot.
He's easily the person I interact with the most because we coach together. I definitely think we're friends. I was making a joke, obviously. If I had to pick a best friend on campus, probably Mr. DeLeon. Not that I don't know if he's gonna read.
Okay.
He's a hard guy to read, But for sure. I mean, I with him all the time. So,
Do you have a favorite Mr. DeLeon quote?
Oh.
specific quote. I never had him in class as a student to like be able to, because that's really when you pay attention to this stuff. When we're both out there, we're both kind of doing our own thing. It's not a quote. Am I good to stand here? Am I going to pull on this?
Oh, you're
It's
good.
more of just the De Leon stance, which I've
Oh,
definitely
no.
adopted
Uh-oh.
as a
Not
coach.
the-
So it's just
bro.
here, and you can't see my feet, but feet cross, just
And then
here like this.
When you gotta count down, you gotta go like this.
Oh yeah.
So if that counts as a quote, then I'm going to go with that.
Our next one is, what is the meaning of layered?
Oh yeah,
So
I've
I
been
can't-
wondering about this.
I can't give you the actual etymology behind
No.
it, other than
Oh,
to
God.
say that it means it's essentially a lord in Scottish.
Oh.
As I said, Scotland is my favorite place that I visited. So I won't say too deep, but I was really interested in Scotland for a while. And that just kept popping up as like what you'd call a lord. So instead of saying lord, you say laird. And when we got Schoology, I don't use it, but we had trainings on it, and I had to create my name, and it was just an option that I put, and then I completely forgot that it was there until people started calling me Laird.
It's because there's like 7 people asking, like,
They were
all-
what's
they're
the
all one friend
meaning? Like,
groups.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, what the hell?
All stems from Hugo.
And,
so
and
thanks,
then I
Hugo.
was like, I need to know. Like, then this needs to be asked.
Just means Lord. So instead of saying Mr. Drulias, it's Laird Drulias.
What is the meaning behind T Cooks?
T. Cooks. Interesting. I wonder who wrote that one.
That's not who you
So I had an alter ego during COVID that
Wow.
occasionally still pops up here and there.
A persona.
Mhm.
A persona.
More or less. Just during the pandemic, when we're stuck at home. And I've always enjoyed cooking, but I just would take really bad pictures of the food I cooked and just say, Tommy Cooks here. So that's T. Cooks.
What do you like cooking?
Just about anything. Like if I'm just cooking for myself for the week, it's probably chicken, rice, vegetables. But when I was in Italy, I was actually fortunate enough to take a pasta making class. I have not yet tried to remake that here. It's really hard to find those kind of ingredients, but I do enjoy making pasta a lot. I made what have I made? I made a carbonara and a cacio e pepe, which are not hard but not easy to make if you've never done it before, getting all that kind of stuff right. I think my favorite dish I've ever cooked is a Spanish rice dish, actually Spanish chicken and rice. It's kind of a one-pan thing. That's, if I had to cook for people, that's my go-to for sure.
Would you ever shave your beard?
So I have not had a clean face since 2017, and I have no
Yeah.
intentions of doing that. You might see me with much less hair than this,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll be like a 1. Like I'm it's kind of like, this is my makeup right here, and it looks good on me, so I'm going to keep it that way, even if it's graying a little bit, It takes some pretty big, like, it'd have to be kid coming back 3-1, last chance, he's at about 2%, and there's 2 weeks to go. Hey, you get a C in my class, I'll shave my beard for you. That's about where we're at.
How long did it took to grow the beard?
So it doesn't take that long. Like, if I shaved, it would probably take me a week and a half, 2 weeks. Not to get here, but to have just a good amount.
Yeah.
I trim it pretty regularly.
Have you
okay.
ever thought of growing it out like the people in Scotland? Matching your lard.
My laird.
Your laird.
No,
title,
I just
And then you like putting little ribbons on them.
tie it up a little bit like a dwarf or
Yeah.
something.
Like-
No, I don't want to deal with, because it gets really itchy and the skin gets really dry under there. And so I
Hello?
think the longer it gets, the probably more difficult it is to keep.
I didn't
Mr.
know
Curry
that.
does great work. Mr. Ing does great work.
Oh,
Or at least when
yeah.
Mr. Curry still have the long beard.
Yep.
Yeah. He still has much more. Props to them. I wish I had the patience to do that.
Do you have any pets?
No longer. My girlfriend has a dog, and so he's kind of my adopted pet now. But no more pets. I had a dog. I had a hamster. Had turtles, but nothing
Have they
currently that
died? Oh,
Oh yeah, I mean,
dude.
I'm 32, so
Every time
unfortunately
someone
it's died.
says that they had a hamster, it dies horrifically.
Thankfully, my hamster did not. He just died of old age.
Okay, I thought I got like eaten
no,
or
no, no.
smushed
Just-
or
we
stuck
kept him
in a
in-
vacuum.
Kept him in the
or-
garage, and then after years and years, just one day he walked out and didn't hear anything, didn't see anything. He's just Had a good life though.
In a garage.
Well, he had a cage. It wasn't just like free to roam. That's how it gets gruesome when you let him free to roam.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Over the years, I've gone back and forth on this a lot. I think I have to pick Messi, just because it's actual poetry in motion. But I can still appreciate Ronaldo. I'm not like, neither of them are my favorite player. But as far as who I think the best is, it's obviously between them two. They're in their own category over anybody else. But Messi is just like pure natural talent with hard work. Ronaldo was always going to be good, but you can see just like, because I've been around long enough now to have seen most of his career since he was at Manchester United, all through Real Madrid to Juventus. Now we went to United again. Now he's at, I can't even name the Saudi Arabian team, but like he is the pinnacle of effort meets talent. Like it's just, watching him is just, you can see it's almost robotic, but it's smooth at the same time. Everything he does is pure and calculated, where Messi is free-flowing, in the moment, figuring out what I'm going to do. It's more like magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much all of our questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming
No,
on.
thank you guys. Sorry if I was calling anybody out.
No, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It was a
It
pleasure.
was a pleasure.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time. And don't forget to follow our Instagram to stay updated on our latest news.